everybody. I'm Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks. And today we're going to talk about food. Food, how it was back in the 80s compared to how it is now. Now, we all remember eating bologna sandwiches and hot dogs on Wonder Bread and stuff like that. And those are good memories for a lot of us. Hot dogs cut up in the beans, the Franks and beans, macaroni and cheese back then. That was a big staple of our diets when we were kids. But what I've seen that has changed a lot is the fast food, really. And even food we buy in the grocery store now. There's so many GMOs, and it seems like everything has chemicals in it now. I don't know if that's good or bad, whatever. I know it's good for the stockholders of those big companies, but I don't know if it's good or bad for us to be eating that stuff. As I remember it, stuff just tasted a lot better then. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's just my taste buds have changed or whatever. But I remember Kentucky Fried Chicken back then, and it was delicious. Even the mashed potatoes and the gravy and the corn and everything. I loved Kentucky Fried Chicken back then. Now it's just, I don't know. I mean, it tastes similar, but there's something different about it now that I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on. It's just not, doesn't seem the same. The same way with McDonald's and all the rest of them. Everything seems a little more bland. It doesn't taste quite as good as I remember it as a kid. I used to love going to McDonald's or Burger King or something, and getting a hamburger or whatever. But nowadays, I'm not even really tempted to do that. I do it once in a great while, and then I'm disappointed with the product. Whatever changes they've made throughout the last several decades, it's taken the food downhill as far as the taste goes, in my opinion. And as far as I see online, it's the size of the portions too. You see, you can find those pictures of the Big Mac, the one Big Mac from 1980, and then the Big Mac from today. It's like half the size, and it costs 3 times more. So not only are they screwing us by raising the prices, they're screwing us by giving us less for that raised price. And I know it all boils down to the dollar. The company's gonna do whatever it can to make as much money as possible. I get that. And even adding the chemicals and doing all that stuff because chemicals are cheaper than the real thing. A lot of the multivitamins they're just chemicals that your body is supposed to treat like a vitamin. The actual vitamins that they get from food, they can process food and get the vitamins out of them, but it's a lot more expensive. So to get those is cost prohibitive. It just seems like to me that everything tasted better back then. Everything. And then the weird thing with Spam. I'm not a big fan of Spam. That's putting it mildly. I don't like Spam at all, but I was forced to eat it as a kid because it was cheap, very inexpensive, and I grew up poor, so we had to eat fried Spam and stuff like that on Wonder Bread. So I remember that. And now, though, Spam is expensive. What the hell happened there? How the hell did that crap become so expensive? And I'm sorry if you like Spam. I just personally don't. I was forced to eat it as a kid, and I don't eat it anymore. When you're poor, when you grow up poor, you gotta eat things that you don't like, just so to avoid starvation, or you have to eat the same thing over and over and over again. I don't like pancakes to this day because that's all we had to eat for a while, so I don't eat pancakes. But yeah, I'm one of those people that look at the ingredients on the back of things before I buy something in the grocery store. And now, after the list of ingredients and all their chemicals and stuff, and then down below that, at the bottom, it says that this product contains bioengineered ingredients. And I understand what bioengineered means. I get it. I understand the definition of the words. But why don't they tell me what it is? Why don't they tell me I'm supporting them with my hard-earned money, but they're just, and they put it down below to where, to where you don't really, you're not really supposed to notice it. Once they started putting this stuff in there, why didn't they let everybody know? They could have put some kind of big sticker on there for at least for a while to say, hey, we're doing this and this is why, or something. Put a link on there somewhere explaining what they're doing, but they don't. They just put it on there, and people grab the front of, you look at the front of the can, you put it in your cart, and you don't know that they've changed whatever the hell they're putting in there. It's not the same stuff you were buying 10 years ago. They don't value your opinion enough or think you're intelligent enough to make a good decision, so they're just going to slip it in on me. And it's not the whole health thing that bothers me there. It's the disrespect. I'm working hard to support their company, and they don't even have enough respect for me to let me know what they're putting in my body. So that grinds my gears. But I do try to eat healthy if I can, eat organic or whatever as I can. But I don't don't trust that whole organic thing anymore. It used to be, that organic label used to mean something, but not when the big corporations got on that wagon too. There's a whole rabbit hole you can go down and see the evolution of that organic sticker and what influence the big companies like Tyson and them had on that FDA approval there for organics. That whole thing with all the chemicals and just nothing tastes as good as it used to. It's just not, food just isn't as enjoyable as it used to be. Not in my opinion. Some people might disagree with me, but I just don't enjoy food like I used to. I just don't. And I see online, and I don't know, they could be fake or whatever, but people putting stuff out, ice cream that won't melt and weird stuff like this because it's all chemicals now. And I have seen, well, I've done it myself accidentally, left a burger and fries from McDonald's out and it just sits there. Bugs won't touch it, bacteria won't touch it. There's something wrong there. There's something wrong there. If a bug won't even eat it, I don't know if I want to. And now on a list of the worst foods for you, it's microwave popcorns at the top. Back in the day, we remember those Jiffy Pop. I think they were Jiffy Pop. It looked like a frying pan with aluminum foil over it, and you'd shake it over the stove for 15 minutes waiting for that thing to pop before you started the movie in the VCR. Yeah, those were the days. But nowadays, people don't have the patience for that stuff. Everything seems to be instant gratification, from video games, social media, and even food. They want it right now. Don't want to wait for it to cook or anything like that. And in that speed, I think we've lost something. Taste for one, nutrition for another. It's everyone's fault. It's our own fault for buying that crap. And it's the big company's fault for trying to make as much money and get as rich as humanly possible. So I think everyone's involved in the choices made. It's not just all the big evil corporations' fault. We keep choosing this crap, so they're going to keep giving it to us for the sake of convenience and low prices. And low prices is something a lot of us don't have a choice over, but we do have a choice over convenience. But there's some middle grounds there sometimes. Like my wife got us, it looks like a little coffee pot with a lid on it, but you put the regular popcorn kernels in there, and then you put that in the microwave and let it pop, and then it doesn't have all those chemicals from that plastic bag from the microwave popcorn. It takes a little more time, a little more effort, barely, but it's quite a bit healthier because you don't get all that crap. Everything has microplastics in it now. I've watched videos where they put a chicken McNugget under a microscope, and it's insane. It's insane what's in those things. Why the hell they get all these microplastics in our food? I don't know. Microplastics and chemicals. And I think that leads to the fact that the taste of the food is going away. We're just going to this bland thing in this bland direction that I don't understand. Everything seems to be processed faster and cheaper, but costs more. that's the thing. They keep figuring out how to make things cheaper and faster, but they keep charging us more and more for them, and then having us go through self-checkout in the grocery line. We can't even have somebody ring it up for us anymore. We've got to do their work for them. But a lot of you might not have experienced this, but as a kid, when we had the money, and our parents would bring home Kentucky Fried Chicken or something, that was an event. It was a wonderful time, Kentucky Fried Chicken. And it was just delicious back then. And it seems like maybe because I was smaller, but it seems like the portions were bigger. Like the chicken breast was a meal in itself, I mean, even into my teens, though, and I could eat a lot when I was a teen. A big old chicken breast. Now they're these little tiny things. It's hard to tell the breast from the thigh now. They're small little things. The portions are definitely smaller. And even I was making myself a tuna fish sandwich yesterday, the day before, and I mixed it up, and I realized how I put the whole can of tuna fish in a bowl and mixed it up, and it made a thin sandwich. And I specifically remember as a teenager, I could make 2 big fat sandwiches with a can of tuna fish, or make me and my brother each a sandwich with 1 can of tuna fish. The portions are so much smaller. I don't know, they must have shrunk the can a little bit. I wish I had a can of tuna fish from the 80s so I could see the difference. But they must have shrunk the can a little bit and, put more water or olive oil or whatever in the can to get the portion that small. Because it was unbelievable once I mixed it up and actually looked at it and paid attention. I was like, this is all I get? And a can of tuna fish now is like, almost $3. Like, what the hell? I remember a can of tuna fish used to be 75 cents, 50 cents. The cheap stuff, the chicken of the sea or whatever, was 50 cents a can. Now it's $3. It's just crazy. And you get so much less. So inflation is, as far as food goes, it's way worse than we realize, because you're getting so much less for your money. And it's a lot more money. So it's going both ways. If we could go back in time and look at the, per ounce cost versus now, inflation would be crazy. It'd be even worse than we realize. And a lot of the time now, people just don't have the time to sit down and cook a wholesome meal, You don't have moms just can't do that anymore. It's not like it was back in the 50s when the boomers were kids and they'd go home and mom would have a nice big hot meal and the family would sit down and eat a nutritious meal. It's not like that anymore. We're pretty much forced to buy quicker things because mom can't get home at work at 5, 6 o'clock at night and then spend 3 hours cooking and everybody eat at 8, and then she spend 2 hours cleaning and she get to bed at 11 and have to get up for work in the morning. That's just not even feasible. A lot has changed about the way we eat and what we eat and how much it costs for us to eat. A lot has changed, and not all of it for the better. All of it. The only thing that's could be called better is the convenience. It's faster, it's easier, yeah, but that's it. It's more expensive and it's not as healthy. So where are we going with this? What direction is this going, our food and what we put into our bodies? All right, and I'll leave you there. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and comment down below. I appreciate it. And if you want to support the channel, you can do so by clicking on the thanks button down below this video. Or you can hop over to Buy Me a Cup of Coffee and buy me a cup of coffee. I appreciate that too. I'll put that link down in the description. If you're interested in Gen X gear, I'll put that link down in the description as well. We got some pretty cool stuff over there. It's stickers and mugs and t-shirts, all kinds of cool stuff. It's worth checking out at least. And if you can't support the channel or don't want to support the channel in any of those ways, you can always do so by sharing these videos on your social media. That really helps out a lot, and I appreciate that. Thank you for those of you who have already done it, and for those of you who are going to do it today. I appreciate it. And if you have any suggestions for future episodes of Gen X Thinks, please put those down in the comments. I really enjoy doing those episodes and bringing your ideas to life here on Gen X Thinks. Thank you. And as always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.